The NFL yesterday, Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars. It was one of the 1 o'clock games here. It's just weird to say 1 o'clock. Because like, you know, being in the Midwest, it's like, all right, noon games. You know, and
it's been so long for me. Like I'm so used to it's the 10 and 1 o'clock.
The 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. So regardless, 1 o'clock on the Pacific Coast, Pacific time zone, and the Jaguars were up big in this game against the Seahawks. There were a lot of wrinkles to this prior to the game where Jalen Ramsey went after the media and was like, "You guys need to stop hyping them up, man. Like we are the legit Jaguars this year. We're not a team that's like a pushover." And it's accurate, facts, as Denise Jones would say. So they ended up winning the game. Michael Bennett went after one of the offensive lineman's legs. Oddly enough, this past week he was nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. And so he goes after the legs of an opponent. Sheldon Richardson gets kicked out. Michael Bennett was on the sidelines the rest of the game. Quentin Jefferson also went at the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman's legs as they were in victory formation. Forgot to say that. So they basically pulled a Schiano. And so what ensued was Quentin Jefferson trying to make his way to the tunnel. A beer is thrown in his way. He then circles around, goes to the fans. Another beer is thrown his way. He tries climbing up to have like a Malice at the Palace part 2. He then gets taken down and then makes his way out. Here is what he said after the game.
I'm just wondering if it was the right call for him to throw a beer on me. Just saying.
Did that happen as you were first making your way out?
I'm walking, I'm not talking to nobody, I'm walking out. Somebody throw a beer, then somebody throws another drink. What would you do?
Good. What was said and it looked like you were jumping at each other.
That's what I'm saying, like.
That's the question. They want you to say something, just stop. You're a man with 4 kids. If you want to say something, don't say it. Move on, tell them you got your face.
I don't know who that was off camera, but he's right, obviously.
Absolutely, they're trying to get something out of you.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the next
Well,
page.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just this, oh, hello computer. I think it's just this false, well, actually it's a true security of having not only an elevated platform to protect you, but also that you are part of this mob mentality of having thousands upon thousands of fans who are in it for the same cause as you are, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you're allowed, not allowed, but you are almost enabled to do whatever you want at all times. And it's wrong.
Right.
It's completely wrong.
What I thought I heard was, it sounded like a teammate telling him to stop talking to this reporter who's asked him, so what was said? Then what happened to you? How'd you feel then? He's just trying to get this next response of, oh, then in the locker room he says, fuck those fans. If I see them again, and then this violent, angry football player who honestly was assaulted, then has to be, then the story comes to how angry he is rather than what happened, and which would lead to your point of these fans have this barrier, have security, and have drinks in their hand, which, you know, we already know stadiums don't give you glass bottles and stuff for reasons like this.
Right.
But still,
I think it was the Browns who started that because the Steelers were making their way to the tunnel and beer bottles were being thrown at them, and then they were like, okay, no more beer bottles.
Yeah, and you notice if you get them there, Bud Lights are in plastic now. So it's sad that this still happens and that people are still emboldened to do it. I don't know what happened to those fans, if they were identified or kicked out or banned forever. But
should be banned.
All that should happen, by the way. So you can't start a fight when you know you have. It's like that sorry ass soft dude who talks trash, pushes, then gets his boys to crowd around to make sure he doesn't get his ass kicked. On like a 100th scale larger here, because you know you're 17 rows up and you toss a beer and decide to just scream.
Right.
Get out of here, man.
No, I look, my whole thing is like with the beers and everything and what have you, like was he assaulted? Yeah, completely. Knowing that this is the field that he went into, not that he's inheriting what's going to happen to him, but just for the fact of not taking away from the product on the field. I mean, it's fairly obvious. It's don't go into the stands. Don't try to go into the stands, because then what you're doing is by reacting, you're hurting your own cause of bringing attention to these idiot fans, which is what we should be talking about. We should also be talking about how the Jaguars had a really impressive win over the Seattle Seahawks. And all of that is overclouded because of drunk, idiotic fans who are throwing beers at players, and the player tries going into the stands. If he went back and just yelled at them, I'd be like, validated. But you can't go up into the stands because then again, you're just hurting your own cause.
He was there to yell the first time. Then when the second one came, he's like, okay. But again, it's tough, man. Look, he's getting kicked out of the game because of the actual
going at an offensive lineman's legs.
It was an actual confrontation on the field between him and another player. So that's a real confrontation. Then you have these fans who have nothing to do with it, and you're already mad. So I mean, it's why it's even more deplorable when you take that moment as a fan to be the one to try and escalate it when you have nothing to do with it.
So like, as I see this now, and I want to know your opinion on this, like, I personally believe that the fans should never be allowed in that stadium ever again. They shouldn't be allowed in any stadium ever again. And if we have the technology, and I don't know how this was done, but this was years ago, where my picture was taken in a row at the Coliseum many, many years ago, they can identify who this kid was, or who these adults maybe were, and try to get them banned. Because what they should do is try to bring attention to fan violence, and how the last thing that we want is a Ron Artest going to the stands, smacking the shit out of some kid, and Steven Jackson going in there and smacking the shit out of another kid again, and then two idiotic, in this case, Pistons fans going on the court and trying to like threaten Jermaine O'Neal and then getting knocked out. It's the last thing that we need right now in sports.
But you know who's always gonna
especially for football.
You know who's always gonna be on the hook for those are the players. Those guys' names are never gonna be famous. They're not gonna have documentaries made about how much piece of shits they are. But you know who's now infamous? The guy who interfered with a foul ball in a Cubs game.
Steve Bartman. Yep.
That's the guy. The one who was being a fan that is actually excited about the game and made a mistake. And it wasn't even just him. So if you're a fan who consciously—
You're talking about the 9 other fans that went for the foul ball?
Absolutely. The fan who consciously starts trouble and is trying to start a melee, you're not gonna become infamous. You're not gonna be banned and then become a pariah in your own city. No, those aren't gonna happen.
Are we surprised that people who pay money to go to a stadium to watch other people come like bash their heads together are a bit like violent, tending folks? Is this really news to us? That I think like finding that one fan doesn't ban like people from throwing bottles in the stadium. Maybe doing some PSA on how, and this is a consistent thing we saw in the LeBron clip the other day, or excuse me, the KD clip the other day, where these players are finally like, yo, I'm sick of this. Like, I'm a person, dude. Like, why can you just throw bottles at me? That's not cool. Like, no other job. I can't go to my dentist's office and be like, oh, that hurt, bottle in your face. Like, that's not how it works anywhere, you know? And I think we're starting to see that consistent trend where players are like, hey, hold on, like, time out.
No, but I think we should put in a cheering section in each dentist office just to see how they perform under pressure. Like, oh, he's going in for the cavity. Can he do it? 3, 2, 1.
Well, considering I'm the one—
Pulls out your tooth, you're bleeding like crazy, like James Franco in SNL.
Considering I'm the one in the chair at the dentist's office, I'm gonna start bringing my kid in. He's a good fan, so I'm gonna make sure he has a couple of bottles and tosses them. He has to be one that tosses the bottles at the dentist's head.
Oh yeah?
Not me.
And he's
I'm in the field of battle.
right. And like Dr. O'Brien's navigating through, like trying to, oh shit, here's a beer bottle.
He's gonna check in. You okay, Dad?
There goes the syringe and Novocaine. Oh shit.
By the way, no, this sparked my curiosity. Why at this Coliseum did they take an image of your face? What were you doing? Were you being a dickhead
I honestly
fan?
don't remember. I just remember seeing me in a row.
Really?
And someone that we were with found it and sent it to us. Oh. So my point is, the technology.
They can find you.
Oh.
And as I told you before we started, they found me and my kid at the Clippers game this weekend.
True.
In the first quarter.
They probably spotted you because like I'm sure security has some sort of like protocol. And it's like, oh, cute kid and a dad. Oh, cute kid and a mom.
It's a midday game. Nobody's here.
Yeah, smart PR. All right, thoughts. Should the dentist office have a cheering section? Comment section below. Subscribe to 2IG Sports.